What's the name of the track?
Dancing.
Dancing?
Yeah, I was just
Yeah, no, that's always the hardest part. Naming songs. I'm like,
yeah,
just put the main word that's in there.
it's either that or just like you guys something way out of the box.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's one song I really like from Fortet, his like alias. That
Yeah.
is like all these special characters that like you
Interesting.
can't type in. So he
Interesting.
has like a song that I really like, but like
You can never find it.
the only time I found it was off of like a link that then opened in my Spotify or whatever, and it's like, yeah, I love it, but I could only like share it with people. I can't be like, oh, type in this, like it's impossible.
Damn. So what was it like working with an artist in Sweden? Like did you make it while you were there and then?
Oh no,
No?
I actually have never been to Sweden,
oh.
but I met her on spring break like 2 years ago in Germany because my friend like was basically doing like a gap year there, and
Okay.
yeah, she was just like one of the friends that was in like Berlin at that time, and we just hung out for like a week, and she was also like, oh, she sings and stuff. So I got back and I was working on instrumentals, and then I sent her this like the instrumental for that
Yeah.
like in like September, like I don't even know, but it was like we've been working on it for like a year and a half or something.
Dang.
Yeah, it's like I've been super slow with it. Like there's been periods where like I didn't make any changes because I thought like I was like a lost cause.
Really?
And like the mix was really bad and just the idea, I don't know. And it was whatever. And then one day I like played it in the car with my girlfriend and she was like, that sounds like a real song. And like that's no shade to my other music, but she's just like, if I heard that, like I would think that that's like no other not any different from any other song on the radio. So it's like I was like, oh, maybe I should finish it because it's like I just would rather like not regret that.
Yeah.
And just like
But sometimes you need that like bit of like not listening to it for a while or like coming back to it after a month or two and
because
being
I don't think I knew how to fix it back then.
Yeah.
And I also in between that time I worked on Don't Want It Back, which is another one of my songs that I did with the singer Luca S.
Yeah.
And like
Luca
the process was so easy.
Really?
It was like the
well, she
total
goes to
opposite.
UMass, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so she's here and you can do it
it's
together.
like with this song we did like Instagram DMs like back and forth and the time change.
Yeah.
And this was just like, let's meet up and talk about it. Okay, cool. You already have like the idea for the vocals and everything. Let's record it.
Yeah.
And then I mixed it, and then it was basically done.
Yeah.
So that was like, it was like I got two sides of like what creating like a song or collaborating could be.
And how long did that one, the one with Luca, take you? Like
probably like a couple months. I mean,
months.
the instrumental like was from way before. That was like more than a year ago, but I had like a very cringy like remix vocal on it just so I can play it, and like people liked it because they knew that part, but then like when the instrumental was like shining without the vocal, people didn't really take to it as much. So I was like, oh, there must be something that's like missing from this. And so I really do think that like her singing on it, it made it like what it is now, because it just like, I don't know, it just doesn't sound like anything else that I've done, and it's really cool.
So do you prefer to do like original, like completely original with someone that you know doing vocals than a remix?
Yeah, I mean definitely, because I just want to like build that kind of like, and I feel like anyone can make a remix, but like once you have like an original vocal, and like also one thing that makes me so excited is like I could remix my own songs. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I could have multiple versions of like a song.
Mhm.
And also like when people know the vocal, and like that's like a it's like a one uh yeah, it's just like completely original thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's my workflow is like I either start the instrumental or like I start with a remix vocal, and I'm always like creating stuff that isn't like the vocal
Mm.
that it comes from, so I can easily scratch it
Mhm.
and pitch it to someone, or change the key and then pitch it to someone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I could just do whatever I want, but it really helps to like speed up the process of like figuring out the arrangement.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also um like in my sets, like I want to play music, but I want it to be like my own, but I want it to be like people know it
People
too.
know it too.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like that can be like, okay, like I got a good reaction on this. Is it because of the vocal or because of my production? Like that.
Mhm.
That's a fun thing to figure out.
Yeah.
Um,
So when you're doing sets now, is it like are you playing at least a few tracks of yours in every set, or
yeah,
yeah?
definitely. There's like, I usually try not to do that many sets unless I have like new stuff to play.
Mhm.
So, but there are times where like I find like a bunch of cool new like club tracks from
Yeah.
like other artists, and I'm just like, oh, I want to find like an event to just play these,
Mhm.
and yeah. But then usually what comes with that is like, oh, I also have this club track that like doesn't really fit into like the stuff that I post on Spotify or
Mhm.
whatever. So I just like I usually try to like what songs am I planning on playing, and then like what songs from my own catalog could I fit in there
Okay.
and have it like not too noticeable of like shifting uh in like the event, sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what people want
How
like
would you
that.
did you start DJing first, or did you start producing first?
I did start DJing first, but it was like very fast, like
Okay.
one after the other, because I got like this beginner controller like right when COVID started.
What'd you get?
Like a
A
Hercules.
Hercules.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looked like a DDJ 400 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Like it looked like the like a beginner thing. It wasn't like super tiny,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but it was like I was like, okay, let me like learn this, and I was just obsessed with like filtering and like
Mm.
just like weird effects and stuff
Mm.
because I was just learning. But like
That's interesting. You're not a big effects guy
yeah,
anymore, so
I
that's
know.
funny.
I was just like, what does this thing do, basically?
Yeah.
And like, I have like videos of like me like on my family computer, like with the thing plugged in, like coming out of the speaker of the family desktop, and I'm playing like the baby. And I'm like,
No, really?
yeah,
Is that
yeah,
what you
yeah.
started spinning like rap
Like
or?
not really. So it was like whatever I was listening to. So it was mostly dance music. Like
Okay.
at that point,
Like
like
give me
kind of
some artists
yeah,
like
kind
what?
of like Avicii
Okay.
and like very popular stuff, and like
Mm.
not so much of like the tech house,
Mm.
or like I didn't really understand like the club sort of vibe yet, because I think like such a big thing is like the speakers. And it's like
Yeah,
I
yes,
never
yeah.
would. I was like whatever 16, like I would never hear like thumping bass ever because
Yeah.
I'm like DJing on my family's
Yeah,
desktop.
yeah.
So it was just like in the headphones or whatever. So I really liked like progressive house and like very melodic stuff,
Okay.
which I think like seeps into like what I make now,
Yeah.
but it's yeah, pretty different. So it was definitely dance music back then,
Interesting.
but yeah, a lot different.
And
And
so and
yeah.
then like quickly into the Hercules. How soon after
Oh
did you
yeah.
realize like I want to start making my own stuff?
Yeah, so I yeah, like I got the controller, and then basically right after that, like kind of when we started going back to school, like some of the days of the week,
Mhm.
like in high school, because of COVID, like I had a friend who had an FL Studio and
Okay.
like mostly made like rap beats, but then he showed me like a few like kind of Avicii style like drops that he made,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yo, like this sounds just like Avicii." It was like it probably didn't, but it was just like I was like, "Yo, this sounds like exactly what I want to do,"
Uh-huh.
and like if you could just teach me,
Mm-hmm.
and so he got me started with like, okay, like you can get the demo and then you can get these sample packs and stuff,
Yeah.
and then it was quickly um like when I was working on this cool idea that I thought was cool at the time, I
Yeah.
was like, I can't save it because like when you have the
Oh,
demo,
you
you
can't
can't
save.
save it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so I was like, quick, like, Dad, get your credit card so I can save it, But no, it was definitely like I knew that once I got the DAW, like it was like the best purchase ever because it was
Mm.
just like I was obsessed with that forever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Do
still
you
obsessed with it. So
are you? Would you say you like producing more than you like DJing,
oh,
or
like way more. Like
really,
yeah,
really?
no, because I I feel that I just don't know why I'm up there like when I'm unless I'm playing my own tracks
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's kind of like I'm not like the most like put the shades on
yeah,
and like
yeah,
1 2 3 jump
yeah.
like
But that's
I'm
not every type of DJ
I
though. You don't
know,
need to
but
do that.
I guess that's like what my mind goes to, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's like yeah, I guess not really that personality, so it's kind of like I don't think that my music taste really, aside from what I make and like how that influences, like I don't think it's like that good to where I should be like up there
Okay,
if I didn't make music.
okay,
So
gotcha.
I think like making music definitely like compensates for that, but I think I kind of just get like once I learned how to transition and how to do that, like I didn't really have a desire to like get a board or anything
Mm,
because I felt like whenever I had a gig, like I would know how to do it.
yeah.
And like I would some like last year when I didn't have a board and I had gigs, like I would just practice like on the laptop with the
Really,
trackpad.
really.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
so
God.
I would just like figure out which songs kind of roughly in
Add
which
your hot
order or
cues.
just yeah, add the hot cues
Yeah,
and I would just switch volumes. So I guess that's why I don't use effects that much. And
Interesting.
but
Okay.
I really was just like let's get from this song to this song and I would spend most of my time like 95% of the time like trying to make the songs like
Mm,
good that I made.
mm.
So
Do you feel like so when you're producing like what you use FL you said, right?
yeah.
Um, do you feel like what do you start with? Like what is it a kick drum or is it different every
Yeah.
time or do you have a method that you go about creating a new track?
Yeah, I all my creating like kind of happens like there. So like sometimes I'll think in my head like, oh, I have this like cool melody, and then I'll like sing it into my phone, but
Mm.
that never works. Like
Really?
it all I always
Okay.
listen to it later and I'm like, that is so bad, or like I don't know what I'm even
What were
trying
you
to do.
thinking? Yeah,
Yeah. So it's really like everything happens there.
yeah. Mm.
So I'm not like some sort of like genius that's like, oh, like I have an idea, but it's usually like either like a concept or I just 90% of the time it's like chords.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're just
So
fucking around with shit.
yeah, it's really just like I really like constructing like the chords and the melody and like that's why like a lot of my songs are like with the one I played and just showing like my other DJ friends like they're like you have like a signature sound but it's like really just like every song starts with chords
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
and because I think it's like a easy way for you to like start a song and have it like carry some meaning
Yes,
or
that
like
yeah.
and it's like with a lot of club tracks it's like it has to go so far before it like starts to have like
a
that kind
feel,
of
a unique feel
feel,
to
or
it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt that like if I make my own chord progression and melody, like I did something,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't like a sample that started it or like something else. Like it feels original to me, and I
Yeah.
know like then what I could do or how I could arrange it, kind of.
Okay. Do you,
Um,
how do you, when do you get inspired to like make music, or do you have times every week that you sit down and try to make something, or?
yeah, I mean, I get really inspired honestly from like coming here.
Really? Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
like I remember like Jonathan said, like, am I
Mm-hmm.
allowed to like
Yeah,
say?
go ahead, go
Okay, yeah,
ahead.
like Jonathan, he threw down like an amazing like techno
Okay.
set, and I was just like I love that, and like the whole time I'm listening, I'm like, what's making these like? What do I like about them?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's songs that he definitely plays that I don't like,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that goes for
absolutely.
everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, what is this about it that I like? And so like then I like go home and I just try to like kind of think about that when I'm making something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's not like I go home and I'm like, I'm gonna make something like this, because usually when that happens, it's like it doesn't, like I'm really only able to like make what I what like is like coming out for me at the end
Yeah,
at
yeah,
that
yeah.
point or whatever.
You can't
Because
force anything.
yeah, an example of that would be like I did the music for this dance thesis.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
Um
I think you played me a little bit of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and uh for a long time I didn't know if I could like make it my own or make it kind of like something that I could make, even
Mm.
because they had like kind of a vision, but I mean I had so much creative freedom, but they had like kind of a vision of like it should kind of go like this, like start out with kind of like a hip hop sort
Yeah,
of
yeah,
thing and
yeah.
then
I
go
remember.
into like a more danceable thing. And
Yeah.
so I, for the longest time, I just couldn't even start on any ideas like that,
Mm.
because I'm like, how do I even do that?
Yeah.
And then like Danny was kind of organizing the like he was kind of like the middleman between like I would send him the music and then he would send her the music, and he was like giving me advice and stuff like that.
Okay.
And uh he called me after like the whole winter break had
Mm-hmm.
gone by, when I had so much time to work on stuff and I didn't. I was
Mm.
working on other stuff. And he was like, so like we may need to like show her something in like a week. And I'm like, oh yeah, I just have like a couple ideas that I'm finishing up. I'm trying to get like a good
I
idea.
hadn't
And
started
I
at
hadn't started it at all.
all.
And
Oh man, that's
and
great.
then it's like I just sit down though and I'm like, okay. And then I just start putting stuff together. So like I put about like 3 or 4 projects that had like elements from this and elements from that, like all together.
Mm.
And it took a while to like to kind of like mesh them together.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was like a 7-minute song, so
Right, right.
I needed it to have a lot of elements,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't need to be kind of like the most cohesive of like catchy, or like it
Right,
just needed to
right.
like flow for that amount of time and
Yeah.
like stay true. So and then it like it was pretty cool. So
Were you happy with it in the way
yeah,
that it
yeah, I
ended?
was really happy.
And they
Yeah,
enjoyed it as well?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. All right, well, we didn't do this, but I'm here with Luca S
Oh
at the
yeah.
at the Groove House, DJ, producer from Chicago, now living in Western Mass currently for a little
Yep.
while. Do you want to tell us a bit about like how you started with music outside of like producing or DJing, but like what you first started listening to, maybe some of the first types of music you can remember.
Hmm.
And this is the part of the video that I tell you guys to subscribe to our Patreon and make sure to like and subscribe to this channel and this video. I really should start writing these because I do not know what to say. But yeah, it's Triple Groove Media and the Groove Discovery. Make sure to watch Luca S's Groove Room and all that jazz. And yeah, we have no sponsors or anything like that. So your support on Patreon is really appreciated. So without further ado, we're back to the video.
Yeah, I think, and I was just talking about this the other day with my friend, is like, on the way to school, my dad used to like play me like the same songs,
Really?
but it was like either the Beatles or like Michael Jackson.
Hell yeah, hell
So
yeah.
it would be like springtime, and
Mhm.
like every day for like a week we would listen to like Thriller on the way to school.
Okay.
So it's
Like on
like,
CD or cassette or
yeah,
what?
I think he had like an iPod.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like one of
Oh,
those
wow. Okay.
the, yeah,
iPod Shuffle.
yeah, the
Okay.
iPod shuffles and
Yeah, yeah.
stuff.
So, okay, Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
Beatles. Where did your journey into EDM start?
Yeah, so that was very much like I would, like, my brother who's like 6 or 7 years older than me. That I don't know, but off the top of my head, no. But it's um he would like come back. Well, so he was like in high school at the time, and he was like listening to like Swedish House Mafia,
Mm.
and that was like, I don't know if he heard that from like maybe FIFA or like, I
Probably,
mean,
yeah,
there, I
yeah.
knew that
Some
there's
video,
some
yeah.
Avicii songs in FIFA,
Mm.
and so there must have been some connection there. But like, people weren't really like, we had kind of the same experience of like, people weren't really listening to that in high school, whether it was
No.
6 years ahead or like in my year.
Yeah, the popular EDM I feel like at that time was like dubstep. Was like
Well,
the maybe
yeah,
but
so
people still weren't really listening to that as like a popular
yeah.
music though.
Yeah, I would say it was like kind of the popular stuff at the time, because it was like, yeah, the kind of like big kind of festival, like
Right.
progressive house.
Mhm.
That was like the sound of the time, but um not really something that like people our age, like in America, would really be like super into.
Or
I don't
like, yeah,
know.
like listening to on a day-to-day
Relative to other,
basis.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just relative to like how I
Yeah.
was super into it. So yeah, we would like get in the car to like go to the grocery store or something, and he would like put that on the aux
Mm.
or whatever, and it would just be like, "Oh my god, it's the best song ever." And I and I and I bought like "Don't You Worry, Child" when I had like a Kindle Fire. So
Nice.
that was like my first purchase on a Kindle Fire.
Sick.
So
Hell yeah.
it's like that and Jetpack
Nice.
Joyride. So
The two classics. There you
yeah.
go. Do you have any like unique musical experiences being like growing up in Chicago that you feel like really were like inspirational to you in your musical journey or just like you remember very fondly?
Um, I mean, I wouldn't say unique, because like my family's not really that musical.
Mhm.
Like there's always like music in the house, like playing, but um like no one really like plays an instrument or like sings that much. So all this stuff really was like maybe Lollapalooza, going there for the first time, which is why I say like it's not unique. 'Cause it's like a
Yeah.
huge festival and like all really mainstream
But
artists,
that's
but
that's based in Chicago, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
only in
So
Chicago?
yeah,
It's
so
unique
they,
enough in that way.
yeah, so they, yeah, it was definitely like a unique kind of experience relative to other places,
Mhm.
but like that's where you would hear like maybe that level of bass for the first time.
Mhm.
So that's why I kind of also think that like the Perry's stage, which is like the electronic stage,
Mhm.
named after like Perry Farrell, who's
Ferrel or
I don't know,
I feel like I
but
know that
he's like
name,
a
but
Jane. It was a Jane's Addiction or something. The band. Um,
you're
wow,
asking the
I'm
wrong
really
guy.
selling on the lore
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, but he's a rock star, and so they like
Yeah.
named it after him because it's like a crazy stage, like, and it's basically all like DJs now and like
Mhm.
playing really like kind of crazy music and stuff. But it's like you go there now, and like pretty much the whole crowd that's close to the stage
Mhm.
is all like 15-year-olds. and like
Really?
15 to like 18-year-olds.
Really?
And it's literally just, it's like the first time they've ever been outside their house.
Yeah.
And they're just like fiending for the loudest thing,
Yeah.
the most like bass
Mhm.
ever. And it's like, yeah, it's crazy. So that's why I kind of think that like no one is really at that age has experienced that yet. So they like kind of go to the extreme.
Yeah. How old were you when you went?
Maybe 17.
And did you go to the EDM stage or?
Yeah. I would go there. Um, uh, Maybe by that time I even had like people I was looking out for.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like it's been like a trend where if I would go with friends, they would have an understanding that like I'm not gonna join you at Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna stay here. Like
No disrespect.
no disrespect.
Yeah, I wouldn't be there either
But
personally.
but yeah, it's just like I know like I saw like Diplo like alone.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I like that's kind of like the kind of alone part
Mhm.
where that's maybe the coolest thing, which is like coming here and like seeing that a lot of people really like that sort of music.
Yeah.
And whether they just got into it or whatever doesn't really matter because it's like before I had nobody to kind of listen to this music with. And like everyone that I would like play one song with and then play another would be like these two sound the same.
Really? Okay.
But it's like, yeah.
So before you came to UMass, you're saying there weren't really many friends of yours that were listening to EDM that
Yeah,
much.
not really.
And so what was your first experience? Had you played any sets before you came to UMass?
I did one pretty funny gig of I played. So since it was still like COVID, um, I like DJ'd on top of a fire truck that was going through my neighborhood and like saying congratulations to all the graduates
On the mics?
like so I wasn't saying it actually, thank God, but I
Luca S is a
I
microphone DJ. We got it on camera.
I gave it, or like there was a guy on the truck that was like saying congratulations, but
Okay.
it's just everybody would come out to their front lawn like social distancing, and like
Yeah.
the truck would just go through these like narrow streets in Chicago, and I'd be on the back of it just blasting like my set. But since like I didn't have a laptop,
Yeah.
so I actually just pre-recorded the set.
Damn, really?
Yeah, because it's like at that thing, I'm so glad that I did it.
Yeah.
Because I pre-recorded it, and like when we were going around these corners, like I felt like all the equipment I had was gonna like.
You still had your deck
Yeah,
though?
so
You were pretending?
I was still doing that. Yeah, I was pretending. So I
man.
like, but when we like turned a corner, it was like. So I'm very glad that I did that, but
Yeah.
I did not have the means to really like live DJ at that point.
Fair. So what was your first like official actual set then?
I would think of it as probably I DJ'd at the Blue Lagoon at
Oh my God, yeah.
It was actually the first House Thursdays like event. Which like House Thursdays like it was just like the way I think of it now is like the DJ part of Local Mojo before
Local Mojo.
They kind of
But House Thursdays was before Local Mojo,
kind of like
shout out Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Local Mojo was doing like few and far between like band shows.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then House Thursdays like was more like the DJ stuff.
Yeah.
So they had like one night where they're like, let's do like a boiler room at the Blue Lagoon, which is like now it doesn't exist, but it's in like the Gabe's
Where
Underground.
Gabe's is now, yeah.
Yeah. But so
and how did you get connected with them? Like did you reach out or
did they? I knew it because like I knew about Charlie, Chucky Blizz, like right when I got to school, I kind of like knew that he was
a DJ.
like a DJ.
Yeah.
And then I saw him like posting a little bit about like House Thursdays. I kind of like, oh, I wonder what that is. And then I met Owen through like the songwriter and producer club, which like we just went on the same day, like just by pure coincidence. And like,
damn,
that is like a whole another like level of coincidence.
yeah.
But I think that like got me kind of, I showed stuff that I was working on to him, and he was like, oh, he like produces and stuff, and then it's like he was like, oh, we're gonna do this like boiler room thing at the Blue Lagoon, and so that was like the first thing, and mine was like opening set. There wasn't anyone there, but they had like a huge line out there because it was like a one-off event, and they were just trying to get like everyone they knew there. And yeah, it was really hard to get people like in the dance floor area, but it yeah, it was like the first event, and I remember my set being like amazing and perfect, and
yeah. Did you record it?
No, but I did practice a lot beforehand, and then I did it, and it was really fun, and like,
oh
yeah.
Were you playing on your Hercules, or were you playing on one of
No,
their
I was
decks?
playing. So I was actually playing on like some like all in one.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I wonder
I
whose
just
it
needed like
was.
a little bit of like, what is this, and then like I was pretty good to use it.
Okay, so we just to because to those who don't know, I mean, obviously most of the people watching this will probably be UMass
Yeah.
or whatever, but to those who don't know, House Thursdays, Local Mojo, you're kind, or maybe not as much House Thursdays anymore. They're doing
Yeah.
their own thing, but you're pretty heavily involved in Local Mojo, and you kind of got that from House
Yeah.
Thursdays in a
Yeah.
sense. So what has your involvement been? What has your experience been? And do you um what do you do in Local Mojo now?
Yeah. So when they were first really starting like getting going of like having the kind of e-board and the real like meetings and everything, I did like a lot of like marketing, so I would do like videos, and it was just like what I enjoyed at the time, like trying to be like funny and stuff. So I would just like make videos for them basically, and try to like make people laugh in the meetings and stuff, and that
Yeah.
was really fun. And yeah, I would just make sort of videos every week, or at least have the ideas and pitch them, and then the next year, this year, um, I kind of felt myself like, okay, I don't want to make videos, but like I see that the kind of DJ stuff is taking off with Pressure, and
Well, was that were you on the first or it was Boiler Room at the
yeah,
time?
yeah.
It
So
was
before it was Pressure, well, so I would do it, but I didn't have like any sort of booking, yeah,
what do you?
things.
Oh yeah, you weren't
Yeah,
doing
I
any of the
wasn't
book, but
doing it
you
myself,
were
but
on the first ever Boiler Room, right?
yeah,
It
yeah, with
was
Ethan.
at Tech
Yeah.
Node,
Yeah.
and then you and Ethan back to
Yeah.
back, and then
Probably
M
M.
and Chucky, I
Yeah,
think was the
probably.
lineup.
Yeah.
I was there and I did the interviews,
Oh yeah.
and that was
That's probably
yeah,
still
yeah,
on like my page.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, also for just real quick before we move on, because I'm curious to hear
Yeah.
the rest of the story. But just for those of you who are watching who don't know, Local Mojo is local nonprofit, right? They're a nonprofit.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay,
No.
well, local
They're a business.
organization, and they help put together like different music events and promote artists. And they just had their first ever grassroots festival, Mojo Fest. Looked really sick.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it a good
it was
time?
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was super awesome.
sweet.
I had a lot of fun there.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
What continue? So for you were on the first Boiler Room. That was 2 years ago now at this point.
Yeah, it must have been like the soft. I'm a junior now, sophomore year. I don't know if it was the. I feel like it was cold, but maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure if it was the winter or the summer.
I think it was kind of chilly.
Yeah,
But
but
I don't know. We could go back and look at the interviews and see
yeah,
what we
to
were
be honest,
wearing.
the date will be here.
You kind of look exactly the same. I'm not gonna lie. The stash was. You always had the. That was a staple from day
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Oh, man.
and yeah, so I started DJing as well as like making the videos, and like trying to release music and everything. But then this year I sort of was in between, like, okay, of course I want to still DJ, and but I don't want to make videos that much. So I kind of uh, became like booking and also like keeping like a directory of all like the DJs that we want to have in the events and that come through us. And also like you guys have been very helpful with like Ethan and stuff with having
The open decks,
open
yeah,
decks and
yeah,
stuff, because it's just like, why have like the separate ones when it's all like the same community? Like let's
absolutely,
just like have everyone come out, and then like there'll obviously be people that are more for us than you guys and vice versa.
yeah,
So yeah, it was really cool to just have open decks and like discover people
yeah.
and yeah, have new people and yeah, be a part of the sort of
Mm.
booking and stuff for pressure.
Yeah, I hope Ethan keeps those up next year, because those have been really fun, and I feel like it's a little hard to gauge someone entirely off just 15 minutes.
Yeah,
So I like to give people more of the benefit of the doubt in those
yeah,
type of scenarios. But you at least get a vibe for what they're playing,
yeah,
and like if they can bass level mix
yeah,
or um, and I also just love giving the opportunity to anyone who's like, yeah, I'm trying to DJ, and just like have them
yeah,
be able to come and meet the community and meet other
exactly.
people. It's really cool.
Yeah,
So, okay, so you have one more year here, or
yeah,
two, so two more semesters,
yeah, yeah.
and so I'm assuming you'll keep going with Local Mojo and keep trying to DJ as well. Um, what's your major?
I'm in managerial economics,
Managerial.
so
Okay.
yeah,
So what are you trying to go into DJing or music
um
after college, or are you gonna keep it as like a hobby kind of thing?
yeah,
You still don't know.
it's hard. Yeah, I think I do want to keep it as a hobby,
Hmm.
um, just because like I feel like it would just weigh on me a lot if it was that, or um, I don't know how I would spend that much time
Hmm.
doing it, because at times it's like, oh, I could spend like 5 6 hours in a row like working on something, and then other times I don't want to do anything for like a couple days.
Yeah,
So it's like if I had something more steady and then I could do fill in
on the side.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that works for a lot of people. I
yeah,
think even if you are trying to pursue music as like your full-time thing, oftentimes you need a second job to support
yeah,
your other thing. But just like Liam has his 9 to 5 big
yeah,
boy job,
exactly.
and he's gonna be a musical hobbyist for
Yeah,
his entire life and
exactly.
collect absurd amounts of equipment and
Yeah.
gear and um, okay, so I have a new segment that I've been doing with the past
Nice.
few guests. Um, it's called Enough Said, and it's a
Nice.
little card game that's shout out Angel, I think his name is, from Springfield. He made this.
Oh, cool.
I got it at like a local art and vendors fair in Springfield.
Oh, nice. That
So
sounds.
it's super simple. It's just literally on what it says, perfect icebreaker questions.
Yeah.
And we know each other pretty well, but
Yeah.
there's still really interesting questions, and I think it's good
How many
for.
cards are?
There's a bunch. I
Oh,
usually just
okay.
do
I
like
only saw like a couple.
no, I usually just do like two or three.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
you down?
Yeah.
All right, enough said. Shout out. Okay. Okay. W- Okay. This is a new one. I haven't had this one yet.
Yeah.
What's a childhood memory that changed who you are today?
Ooh.
That's a tough one. That's a tough
Yeah.
question.
Um. Probably when I wanted to be a race car driver when I was really little, and one of my family friends who was like, she wasn't like that much older, but she was like maybe 3 years older than me, was like,
Mm.
you know that race car drivers like die in accidents all the time, and like all of them die basically. And I was like, okay, I definitely don't want to do that anymore. So that maybe changed the directory of my life. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But
What a thing to tell a kid.
yeah, I
You know
mean,
what
she
your
was a
dream.
kid too.
You know what your dream is.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know everyone
yeah,
dies from doing that dream.
yeah, and yeah, and then now I don't even have my driver's license.
Do you
So
not
I
really?
don't. So maybe it's like a subconscious thing.
Wow, dude. Wait,
So
you don't have your driver's? You have a
no,
license, but you don't have a.
I have a ID, but I don't
Okay, an ID.
have a driver's
Wow.
license.
Are you thinking of getting that anytime soon, or no real reason to?
Yeah, I mean, right now I don't see a real reason because like I wouldn't get a car, and
Fair.
like, but if I move someplace where I need a car, I think I would
Mm,
get
okay. All right. Unfortunately, NASCAR,
one.
you missed out
You've
on
lost
yeah.
one.
Okay. Okay. I've had this one before, and well, maybe your answer will be different. We'll see. What's your favorite way to express yourself?
Hmm. I think it's probably through like hanging out with like my friends,
Okay.
honestly.
All right.
Yeah, it's like because I feel maybe like language and like sharing my ideas and like just literally just talking about whatever for
Mm,
however long with people that you talk really well with or
yeah.
you just really like hanging out with. It's like even more expressive than like making music or like audio
Hmm.
because it's like some of that just isn't as intentional or like
Yeah.
it just comes to you or you're like trying to make something that you like think about, but it's like I'm not really thinking when I'm like
Right.
talking to
No,
people or
absolutely.
so
Yeah.
I think that's like probably when I'm most expressive.
That's a great answer. I would not have expected that, but I
Yeah.
also totally agree. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought of having that answer, but I definitely
Yeah. I
agree.
really enjoy it too.
Yeah. That's why I do these. I love talking to
Yeah. Yeah.
people. It's a great way to connect. Um, okay, okay. This we'll do this. The last one. It's a good one. How do you want people to remember you?
Uh I'm gonna go like how do I want people to remember me like here when I graduate.
Okay when you got that's a good way of thinking
Yeah.
about it because in 20 years in life
Yeah.
your answer will be a lot different. So
Yeah. I
yeah, that's a
think
good.
I do want to be known as like the guy who like made the music. Like
Made okay,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
the
kind of
music guy.
like yeah, who like I just hold like producing to like kind of I like that about myself that I do that
Mm.
and I think it makes me different like in this scene
Yeah, yeah.
especially.
You can play another. Let's do another track now. You can do
Okay, yeah.
Bluetooth
and we can
connected.
talk about it. I'm curious. Do something that's released, or not that the one that you did play will be released once this
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
out. But
Yeah,
um,
I'll do something from Apple Music.
you're an Apple Music guy.
Yeah.
No Spotify.
No, but also I heard like a good point recently
Hmm.
about like there's no numbers on Apple
Yeah, you
Music.
can't see streams. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is good and bad.
Yeah.
You could see your number streams. If you have
Yeah,
the
exactly.
whatever the Spotify for
Yeah.
artist equivalent is for Apple
Exactly.
Music,
Yeah.
but for a general person, you can't see.
Yeah. I like this is like my favorite one just cuz like I never really get to play it in like a club setting, but it has like my favorite like one of my favorite melodies that I've ever made.
Okay.
So yeah, it's called How to Pursue Happiness. Like it's all like how to. That's
And
how
then
like yeah,
pursue happiness.
and then
Yeah.
yeah something, and kind of the trajectory of like the EP also is like the first song is How to Plan a Party, so it's like
Right.
a
Yeah.
fun
Yeah.
start, and then it's like how to use the telephone, and it's like I kind of made that when I was like away from home at college, and like there's some cool dialogue between like like a son and his like dad or something,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's like all of the samples are coming from like the it's like an instructional video from the
Oh,
1950s.
okay,
But
sick.
yeah, they're different videos. It's made by the same company though. So.
Okay.
But yeah, this one is How to Pursue
Yes, I want a future that's something like that. I want to be happy, be somebody, have a good job, friends, a home, a wife and kids. But how do I get there? If that's my purpose, how do I reach it? How? Detailed plan of how to achieve my purpose. And I'd better be getting at it right now. I can write them down, add to them as I go along.
Is that the melody you really like?
But the important thing is having plans. Plans to work with.
And I feel like I do stuff in this song that I wouldn't do in other songs.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. I just did whatever I thought carried the idea along.
Feels like it would be a great like opener for like a sunset set,
Yeah.
you know.
But the important thing is having plans. Plans to work with.
Yes, Nick is learning the importance of looking ahead. He's making some decisions about the kind of future he wants and some plans to reach it.
How did you land on that sound for the piano?
Yeah, I just like, I was just really into using
That specific
like,
one?
that like piano sound, and just yeah, it just sounded really nice.
I really like the dissonance with the horn as well too.
Yeah,
It is very it's like eerily beautiful.
yeah.
Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now.
Oh yeah. Sweet. So so you said you used that piano, you were using that piano a lot at the time, or do you have like how do you choose a piano sound in general when
Yeah, I really like actually like the Labs piano. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a free piano or whatever, but it's like it's honestly so nice. And now like I've kind of overused it in my songs mostly. And so now I really just use it to like make the chords
And then you'll
make the
switch
melody,
it
and then
after.
because
Okay.
I like the sound so much. It's like very just like inspirational, and like if it sounds good on that sound, it's gonna sound good with other stuff. But yeah, so I usually just like start with that or something like that. But yeah, and then I usually use like a kind of like a more typical piano for like if I'm doing like a lead melody.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Okay. And
yeah.
where did you like start collecting your sounds from, or do you mainly use free plugins or what's...
I mean, there's a lot of free stuff, and then
FL has great stock sounds in my
yeah,
opinion.
and then I did like all the effects I use really are like FL stuff, other than like few things. But yeah, I do like I didn't get Splice until like kind of later, so now I use Splice for like a lot of drums, but I have like a lot of packs from either like stuff that I've bought or free stuff like from Reddit and stuff like that. But and then like I love like Serum and Silent One.
Yeah.
Yeah, Silent One is like people don't use it that much yet anymore, or like they don't use it that much anymore. But like, it's very like analog and like very nice, and especially for like the club sounds. Like I use like all my like hard like bass lines are from Silent One.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that song, it's like I don't think it's like the best mixed or like the coolest sort of like thing like to me right now, but it's like I just love how that song makes me feel. And like I also love like when I drop that song in like FL Studio and then I can like speed it up.
Yeah.
And like I just love making like sped up versions of my songs and stuff.
Yeah.
And for that song I made like a version of it for the Groove Room.
Oh, really?
My Groove Room set. So like
Sweet.
so I played it, and it's just like a more kind of modern version of it, but it has like the same melody and stuff.
Do you want to talk about the Groove Room a little bit
Yeah,
now? Because
I would, yeah.
it's out now. Once you're watching this interview, it'll be out. So go check that out. That'll be the 6th episode of the Groove Room.
Yeah.
That will be released. So
Yeah.
you're getting in there early. I'd love to have you come back and do one in Boston too, when you have some more
That would be
tracks
awesome.
to do.
Yeah.
But yeah. Give us a little like rundown of what you were going into, like planning the set and like actually playing the set and afterwards.
Yeah, I felt like I needed to obviously play like a lot of my own stuff, and I knew the environment was going to be like, if this goes well, like anywhere, it would be this place.
Yeah.
So really just trying to be like, okay, I'm gonna like try to play as much music as that I think is like current to me now. So I didn't play that song like in its original thing, because I feel like there's just things that you need to abide to in sets to like keep the energy going and stuff. But I played a lot of remixes. I played a lot of original stuff, and new stuff. But in terms of, I mean, I think it was like mostly the BPM, but went from like my first song was maybe like 110 or 115, and then I quickly go into like more of the house stuff and like stay at 128 BPM, and then I like go a little bit into it for the last couple songs. I go a little bit faster, especially like the newer song that's coming out, or that's already out. I guess.
Already out.
It's already out, dancing, but yeah, it's that's a little bit in like the 130s, middle of 130s. So it was mostly just I made like a doc, and I was like, okay, off the top of my head, which are the ones that I really want to play, and like those are the priorities, and then I'll go into my folder of stuff that I've made and be like, okay, do I think this is good enough to play? Could it like support another track? And then I go in and I say, like, the tracks that aren't mine are the ones I'm gonna try to like fill in the gaps, but also so that it's like kind of gives validation to like the sound that I'm playing. Because it's like another song from another person that's in the same style, but it's different. So it's like a real person has made a song like this.
Right.
So
you're also a real person. It was a real song. There's a real person. Bro.
Exactly.
I hear what you're saying, though.
So, and then there's just some tracks that I really wanted to play, and have that kind of special moment. And
how many of the tracks were yours? Like,
I think
percentage-wise,
I think it was about like 40%.
40% yours.
Yeah.
Is that the most amount that you've ever played?
Yeah,
in
in 1 hour, definitely. I think I've played around half for a 40-minute set, but yeah, I can't squeeze like half to an hour. It's a lot, but yeah.
Did you? Was that like significant? Did that feel significantly different to you than like a normal set playing, or?
Yeah. It was kind of like, I know this song.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I knew it was gonna be like a really special night for me though, and like it did feel really special.
Nice.
So I thought a lot about it like in the weeks beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't normally put that much
Fair.
thought.
Yeah.
Just a regular old set.
And
So.
you have you or I still gotta send you the audio
Yeah.
because you gotta go through. I can do that right now.
Yeah.
Or I can't because that's my phone with the audio on it. But
Yeah.
after the interview, I'll
Yeah.
airdrop it to you. But you haven't heard it or seen it since.
No, I haven't. I
Okay.
completely forgot about
Yeah.
it.
Right. No. Yeah. No. I just did that thing, a few weeks ago. But no, it was a really good set, I will say, and everyone else I've talked to
Yeah.
about it really loved it, and
Yeah, I think there's definitely groovier sets or sets that I've heard here that have made people just shake ass for
yeah.
hours.
But that's not what every
but
set is meant to do
but
either.
exactly,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna translate really well to you.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have like with the sound that you make, do you have like a space that you feel like it is most well received? Not in like what
Yeah.
you have played so far, whether it be here or what
Yeah.
has been most well received so far, but like this type of environment would be perfect for my music that I make.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really enjoyed playing at Protocol, which
Yeah.
it's kind of like kind of like a cocktail lounge sort
Yeah.
of vibe at night. But it very much kind of feels like also like a restaurant because they serve dinner until
Yeah.
they close on the weekends. So it's, but it's again that thing of like I'm just kind of playing the music and giving a context to like somebody's night, but they're not really even thinking about the music or they're
Yeah.
just like talking to their friends at the table. But
Right.
it's like I'm so happy to do that because it's like such a cool place, and
Mhm.
I think that is a nice environment.
What about like
for it.
just like listening like to a song that you've made, like outside of like a
Oh
DJ
yeah.
setting? Like, do you have like when you're listening to something like, oh, this takes me to like
Mm.
me frolicking on the beach or like laying down in the grass or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I mean I think in the car.
In the car?
Yeah.
Like on a
Because you
nice
could,
day on
yeah,
a okay.
like it's kind of, or like in the back seat and you're kind of like, because I can't even drive, but it's like in the back seat looking out the window and everything's just passing. But
Okay.
that's like a big, like some of my, I try to like, if I'm in a cool place, I try to like take videos out the window because I think
Yeah.
like it'll be useful for when I have to like put something up. Or, yeah, I've done that before,
Mm.
so yeah.
So you just mentioned like there's also like there's the making music, but then there's the promoting it side of things.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, you do a pretty good job. I think your videos are interesting, and
Yeah.
your art is really cool that you use and stuff.
Yeah, I
But
think
yeah,
it's I try to make it like at least unique to me
yeah,
because
that's the most important thing for
yeah,
sure.
because it's not like I'm not like, posting every day or whatever, but it's like, yeah, I just want stuff to be like cool and like
Mm.
relatable, but also just like, I don't know, it's not like you see it all the time or it's like
Yeah,
a trend or like an algorithm sort of thing
yeah. So
immediately.
what's your relationship with the promoting side of things? Like, do you feel like it's kind of a requirement? Do you somewhat enjoy it, or like?
I would say I somewhat enjoy it if I have like a concept. Like
Mhm.
for the EPs that I really enjoyed like kind of going hard into like just creating the world around the music,
Mhm.
which I think is really important.
Absolutely.
Um, for the singles, sometimes I'm not really sure what to do, but also it's like I made it with another person, so it's just like talk about what that was like,
Yeah.
or kind of yeah, just make it clear that like this is the both of us and we yeah did a lot of work to make it happen. So yeah.
Sweet. All right, I have two more questions for you, and then we can
Yeah.
wrap it up. Um, One is, what is something that the average Luca S listener or set enjoyer wouldn't know about you that you do on like a day-to-day basis?
Wow, that's a good question. I think well, I'm thinking.
No, take your time.
Yeah.
This is a hard question, kind of,
Yeah.
because you know what you do, but you don't know what they don't know what you do.
Yeah. Trying to think of like a weird, funny thing or like um
It doesn't have to be. It could be I drink I drink matcha every day instead of coffee. I
yeah.
don't know. What do you?
Yeah, I mean I am a big coffee guy, but,
Okay.
I know that was
Okay.
but honestly, I mean I've been running a lot and like kind of rock climbing.
Rock climbing.
Yeah.
Do you go to the Central Rock Gym or you go to the one on campus?
I go to the one on campus
Okay.
right now, but yeah, I'm looking to like get more into it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Have you
That's
been
a
outside at all? Like actual?
No, I haven't. But I've been talking to one of my friends about like going camping and doing that.
Yeah.
I think it would be really fun.
It is
But yeah.
very much fun. Even if it's just bouldering, like
Yeah.
bouldering outside in like an actual.
Exactly.
It's very different from the inside rock
Yeah.
climbing. It's really fun.
So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that. That's kind of like a new hobby. And I did run in high school and but now I'm kind of sort of getting back into that.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's a good fun fact. I didn't know. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. And then my last thing is for you. You can. Floor is yours. No
Yeah.
question. Is there anything else you want to say to me, to the people, to
I
your
would
parents?
say
I don't know.
yeah. I would say, thank you to everyone who's ever kind of listened to anything on Spotify. I think that's the coolest thing when people come up to me about that because it's like they seeked it out.
Mhm.
So I would say just like follow me on Instagram, luca.s.music, and yeah, be on the lookout for anything on Spotify and watch the Groove Room definitely.
For
That's
sure.
like just
Yeah.
my best like piece out right now because it's an amalgamation of so many other things.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Luca S.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Good to see you. Good to
Yeah.
talk to you as always.
Awesome.
Peace out, y'all.